Episode 10 of The Variety Show. Today, another book review. I've read a bunch of books in January, I think 5 by my count, and I want to just share what some of them were and what I thought about them. So yesterday's video, I told you about Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, and today I want to tell you about a book that I really like by an author who's one of my favorites. It's called This Is Marketing, and it's by Seth Godin. I think the more appropriate title of the book would be This Is Marketing, Ideally. So Seth Godin kind of bridges this gap between self-help, self-improvement, and that whole genre and marketing. He's obviously a brilliant marketer. He's somewhat of the godfather of modern digital marketing. He's the author of Permission Marketing. He wrote Purple Cow. But he also wrote books like Linchpin, which talk very little about marketing and more about fulfilling your potential. So there's this really nice balance in the work of Seth Godin where he really inspires you to kind of be your best. And I would look at This Is Marketing as sort of a culmination of his various types of work, not so much in that it brings together a curated selection of works, although there are some parts of the book that I've seen in blog posts of his or in podcasts or other areas that he's kind of brought into it. But what I would say This Is Marketing is really about is kind of the most pure look at how marketing could be and probably should be. Now, I don't want to suggest that any of the ideas that Seth is putting forth in his book are unrealistic or unattainable, but I will say that they're unconventional. In the sense that primarily when you look out onto the web and you read blog posts or listen to podcasts or talk to today's modern marketer, it seems as though there's a completely different angle that they're taking on the craft of marketing. And it's much more of a quantifiable, data-driven, high obsession with scaling. And what's nice about the work of Seth is that he actually talks more about the minimum viable audience. That is, how can you get by with the smallest possible audience that really gets you? He doesn't really advocate for any sort of a tactic where you would be inauthentic, although he puts a greater emphasis on being a professional than he does on being authentic. And that's one of the things that I like most out of the book, actually, is Seth has talked a lot about this idea of being a professional. That is, that a professional is someone who, regardless of how they feel, shows up and does the job that they're paid to do. So you're not feeling like giving that talk one day. Doesn't matter. You're a professional. You show up and you crush it because that's your job. So he really distinguishes that customers don't want authenticity always. We say we do, and we do want transparency and honesty and authenticity to a degree. What we don't want is that authenticity to interrupt our experience as customers. We don't want the store clerk who's rude to us because they had a bad day with their boyfriend or girlfriend. We don't want them to show up and give us bad customer service. We want them to be a professional and come up, do their job according to the brand as we see it. So that's one of the key things that I took away from the book, but there's so much more in there where Seth really talks a lot about understanding your audience and doing it at a very micro level, more so than developing a persona, but more in terms of really getting to know individuals and solving problems for them, which you've heard all of that before. If you've even read, one social media marketer's post, I'm sure you've seen the word value or engagement or conversation or any of those things. But the way Seth approaches it is, I would almost consider this book to be, it is the source text for all of our loftiest ideas in marketing, while at the same time making them very real. I think that This Is Marketing is a book to both inspire you and to guide you and to get you to ask a lot of very serious questions, not just from a strategic and tactical point of helping you find the answer to things, but allowing you to actually do the soul searching you need to do so that you can feel at one and connected with the work that you're doing in marketing so that you don't feel like a gross marketer. Definitely worth picking it up. If you listen to it on Audible, Seth narrates it himself. And then obviously it's also, as Seth is a great writer, it's also extremely easy to read. I've done both at this point, and I strongly advise that you pick it up if you're a marketer. And even if you're not a marketer and you want to understand better about kind of what ideally marketing would look like if you were doing it in a way that truly sought to serve people and connect with the authentic way that you are and the work that you want to do in this world, the difference that you want to make, this is a book for you. So go check it out. It's called This Is Marketing by Seth Godin. There's going to be a link right down there in the description.